Welcome to episode 357. I am your host, Al Martinez, also known as Alpha Mike. Today's episode is Mandumy, Duomo, and Slickwa. We're going to dive into a little bit of politics, especially New York City politics, which now has turned into communist politics. As we've always stated, we will go into the political realm if it affects us as Second Amendment citizens, if it affects us as law enforcement, if it affects us as law-abiding citizens. So we're going to dive in a little bit on each one of these characters that ran for the election of New York City mayor and where I believe all this is heading. But before we get to that, we're going to open up our Bibles and we're going to turn to some scripture because that's the only thing that we can actually stand on that is solid ground. Everything else in life, nowhere near solid ground. It's wishy-washy ground. So open your Bibles to the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32, that says, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." One of the verses of the Bible that most people either know, remember, quote. And the Lord was right on point when he said, the truth would set you free. A lie or a compounded lie weighs the person down. The person feels like they can't go forward. They can't breathe. They can't do anything correctly. You know why? Because the simple fact is their conscience is bothering them because they live a lie. As a result, if you want to live free, the truth, be in the truth, and you shall be set free. Don't take my word for it. It's in Scripture. John chapter 8, verse 32. And as we turn our attention to New York City in the election that occurred just recently there, we have three candidates that ran. There were originally four. The three that we're going to concentrate on now, or today, is Mandumy, Duomo, and Slickwa. Of course, the fourth one was the current mayor, swagger man with no plan. And true to his name, he had no plan, so he dropped out. So we're going to look at each one of these individuals, what they brought to the table or what they lacked in bringing to the table. And knowing the results like we know now, what does that mean for law enforcement? What does that mean for people that are passionately yearning for the Second Amendment to bestow them in their state? That's right, I'm talking about you too, California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey. Oh no, I got to exclude New Jersey. They're allowing citizens there to carry conceal after they take their carry conceal class. And don't forget our buddy at Supervivia Inc. Information is down at the bottom of the show notes. Can carry you through that course. So, getting back to the topic at hand, These three individuals, and we're going to take the first one first, and that's going to be Slickwa. Slickwa has been in the limelight, has been a part of New York City since he was born and raised, but for over 40 years, the public has known him either in his role as the guardian angel leader, riding the subways, or the voice of WABC, 77 ABC in New York City. And he wears many hats. Do I think he was bad for running? No, just the opposite. I think that Slickwa was good. But one thing I do know that he knows, he wasn't going to win this election. He was behind in money. He was behind in voters. He was behind because New York City has been behind a Republican candidate since Giuliani. New York has lost their way, as 47 says. The Democrats have lost their way, and so has New York City. Slickwa is in on the long game, not the short game. And the long game is, this is his second election. And there'll be a third. And maybe even a fourth. The long game. He lost against Swagger Man with no plan. He showed all New Yorkers why this man, Swagger Man with no plan, was not right to be the mayor. Let that sink in, and that's what's happening with a lot of New York City residents. This is why Slickwa this time had a bigger following. More people are tuning in, but it wasn't enough. Still short. And in these 4 years, he's going to tell everybody why Mandumy was the wrong person. And he's building more and more momentum. Slickwa is in for the long game, whatever it costs, and however it takes, how long it takes. Hopefully, it won't be too late. A second character that ran, Duomo. Duomo, probably the worst political candidate in the history of the Democratic Party since Hillary Clinton. There he was, the guy that killed thousands of seniors during 2020 in the COVID issue, sending them to their death. Off they went to nursing facilities where they were sick. They didn't even belong in that nursing facility. He sent elderly patients from hospitals to nursing centers, causing the havoc that would occur. Whether he's guilty of stupidity or not, we'll all know when all those trials from the lawsuits that he's going through are completed. But he's also the former governor that was touchy-feely. And we know that touchy-feely is not a good thing in today's environment. A lot of women didn't like Duomo, and they kept on saying he's a pervert. He's fresh. Duomo had a lot of dirty underwear in the luggage. But nevertheless, he ran as a Democrat and he didn't make it. He lost that primary. Oh, wait a minute. We'll reinvent them and we'll bring them in as an I, independent. When was the last independent ever won a mayor's race in New York City? The plan to put Duomo on the ticket was a sure 100% write-in for Mandumy. Duomo had no fever. Duomo had no charisma. Duomo didn't even want a campaign. It was like an inconvenience. Can I just hang out somewhere and you guys just call me and tell me, hey, you won, and I'll just drive down and be your mayor? But it didn't work. Duomo's arrogance and heavy amounts of luggage caught up to him. And his political career most likely has gone straight to the toilet. And last but not least, we feature Mandumy, another bad actor that has fallen from the sky and came out of nowhere. Do you remember, what was it, 4, 5, 6 years ago? AOC, the bartender, came out of nowhere. The skies opened and she fell out of the sky to adorn our beautiful capital with her stupidity. In every aisle, every section of the Capitol, she shows a level of intelligence. It's almost as bad as getting on the New York City subway system.
This is a Brooklyn-bound
But nevertheless,
train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand
a
clear
lot
of
of
the
people
closing doors, please.
were voting for the commie ticket. The socialists. They love them. They can't live without them. The Bernie bros. Don't get it twisted for 1 second. Mandumy did not just come falling out of the sky onto the earth. The kid from Uganda. No, these people have been trained to do exactly what they are doing today. As he starts his political empire, aggravating Americans everywhere, he's starting off in the city of New York. He recently went to go see 47 at the Oval Office, and boy, did he look uncomfortable. Some people in the media even said, Mandumy, you recently said to the media that 47 was a fascist. Do you still believe that? And he was so uncomfortable, he didn't know what to say. 47 turned to him and said, it's okay. Just go ahead and say it. It's a lot easier than trying to mess words. He was right. 47's always right. So here he is, Mandumy. He has promised the word free, free, free. And he doesn't have a penny to his name. He's got a long road ahead. And a lot of his concepts, we all know, are not going to work because communism or socialism has never worked anywhere on this planet. But we can try to salvage and pick up the pieces as everything comes to a crash. The bottom line, city of New York, its citizens will be leaving. many, many, many New Yorkers will be leaving, going somewhere else. Why? They just don't trust Mandumy. They don't like what he said. They don't believe in what he stands for. The phony smile. The Colgate smile that says, no, I'm the mayor for all the people. But I can only see one of his arms. He has the other one behind his back. What is he holding back there? We'll never know. But unfortunately, our Jewish friends will know. Mandumy is in his dressing room during this time as he gets sworn in. I believe it's January 1st as the mayor of New York City. He's currently in his dressing room, practicing and admiring himself in the mirror, smiling with that Colgate smile, and deceiving himself in the mirror as he practices his bogus lines he will throw at every New York City resident. It will be from that moment that he says, I do. And it's interesting what, if anything, he will put his hands on when he takes this oath of office. But what we do know, from that moment on, and he says, I do, the spiral will commence. When Mandumy won the election, the 47th President of the United States posted on Truth Social on his account, and so it begins. Unfortunately, there are so many Americans in this country that know about communism because they are naturalized Americans. They came from someone else that was communist and they ran here to avoid that oppression. From Cuba, from Vietnam, from China, from socialist countries like Venezuela. They fled those countries. Those naturalized Americans know exactly what's coming, and it isn't pretty. But the worst part of that is that millions upon millions of Americans do not know or understand what is the principles of communism. Yes, they can read it in a book, they can watch a documentary, but they live in freedom. They've experienced freedom their whole lives. They don't know. They've never felt it. It is not a lived experience for them. So therefore, secondhand notion. They might have an idea, but they don't have an experience. So those people, unfortunately, either are signing up for a Mandumy New York City mayor run or a future president of the United States run. And then there's others that, I don't follow that shit. I don't do any of that. I don't need to. Oh, America. Those dummies. Each one of us, whether we live or we don't live in New York City, should have a vested interest in what's going on there. I was born and raised there. I don't live there now. But it disturbs me where I was born and raised and where my mother is buried, where my brother is buried. It disturbs me that he can run that place down to the ground. It disturbs me that he's going to expand his horizons and go somewhere else. That the future of America is in the hands of a bunch of wackos which have totally stripped the Democratic Party of their party. If you are listening to me and you say you are a Democrat, mark it down on a piece of paper that the Democratic Party that you like and support is not the one your parents believed in or your grandparents. This one is in your face, straight up socialist and communist. And unfortunately, my friend, you will end up one day as a victim and what they call, the communists call, a useful idiot. You provided the resources for them to get where they're going. Mandumy has said he will retain and keep on staff the commissioner of the New York City Police Department. And he will, for a short time, until it's not convenient anymore. Until the coast is clear, we can go on with the rest of our plan. My friends, I see a 3-card Monty when I see one. And Mandumy fits the bill. What will happen to the financial center of New York? Who knows? How high can crime go? Who knows? How many innocent people will suffer because of this? Who knows? But soon enough, we can fill in the blanks. Up next, our next show, probably closing out the year, is going to be the best budget carries of 2025. Not very expensive carry guns that you could have them on your person, kind of comfortable, and get the job done. Whether it's revolver or pistol. I don't believe in really straining the budget, you know. I got to get that 1911. I got to get that 2011. How much? $7,000. You got it. I don't believe in those things. Why? Because my more inexpensive gun, the bullet comes right out of the barrel just like theirs. And does the same amount of work. So I don't think you need to. But we're going to talk about that, and that's going to be episode 358. As always, if you are looking for gun training in the Tampa Bay area, you can give us a call or look us up on the internet at Raider Cop Tactical or Raider Cop Tac, TAC. That's Raider Cop Tac, TAC.com. There you can see what evolutions we teach: revolver, pistol, carbine, shotgun, rifle, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or maybe even a little bit advanced. We can give you a lot of ideas for self-defense and how to shoot. Most of that training that you will be doing, believe it or not, won't even be in a gun range. Be in your home with no bullets, in a safe environment, safe, clear, and empty. That means no bullets in your gun. Practicing, and practicing some more. So it is a difficult process when you're a beginner. A lot of people are purchasing guns and they don't really are signing up for training. They don't believe they need it. But you should really invest in that, because that weapon that you purchased and that gun can easily take a human life. You owe it to yourself and to your family that you're well trained in that evolution. So you can look us up at Raider Cop TAC. That's Raider Cop TAC, TAC. Or give us a call at 813-942-7400, 813-942-7400. You can also go to our podcast website, RaiderCop.com. There you can hear every episode we've ever done, from number 1 to number 357. That's a lot of listening, but I encourage you to go there. If you want to send us a nasty email, you can send it to Raider Cop Podcast, all one word, small case, lowercase, Raider Cop Podcast at proton, PROTON .me, M-E. And you can send it there. As always, continue to pray for yourself, because without you, we have nothing. Continue to pray for your community, the law enforcement agencies that serve you, and continue to pray for our United States of America. But before I let you go, I'm going to give you a little briefing on some of the shows that we have coming up in 2026, and a little bit about the setup on 2026 and how that's going to be. 393 million Americans own guns, and we're going to talk about that on one of our episodes. That is episode 359. Episode 360 is the M&P, the new block. That's going to be an interesting show. Smith & Wesson's M&P. Episode 361, Happy Carry Holiday. And we'll talk about that. Episode 361. Episode 362, Gun-Free Zones, and what they actually mean. Episode 363, 57% of felons afraid of armed citizens. Why is that? We'll look at that. Episode 364 is the VR-80 automatic shotgun. It is a phenomenal, and it's been around probably about a decade or less. And why the automatic shotgun instead of the pump shotgun should be looked at. Episode 365, lean process to firearms, how they actually make some firearms in this specific company. Episode 366, the Block V story. Yeah, that's right. The V story, you know what that is. The block is the Glock. Is that coming all to an end, or what's happening with the V story? Episode 366. And episode 367, the Snubby. Oh, we're going to talk about the Snubby. You're going to enjoy the Snubby. And the Snubby is that revolver that can really do some real close damage. And lastly, episode 368. Now, that's not the last show of the year. That's just what we have for 2026 so far. Episode 368 is going to be H.R. 38, Constitutional Carry, the Reciprocity Act, and where exactly is it at? And did it die, or is it going forward? And maybe we keep on putting it off because we want to really talk about the subject. And Congress is too busy eating donuts and not doing their job. So we're waiting, and as we wait, well, so waits the podcast. So there you have it. And in 2026, we're going to try to do episodes. Again, I'm not going to put dates on them, but we're numbering them based on the podcast episode number, and then we'll take them out. They'll come out with whether it's in a week, 4 days, 5 days. When I get around it, we'll publicize it. We'll keep you tuned in. Don't worry. And we're also going to do some more videotaping and stuff like that, and kind of move our Rumble account. But it has been my honor and pleasure to be your host today on episode 357. We will see you downrange.
Four three two three. Show 1322.